I miss him very much. But this was our dream, to finish our lives up here. I just got to wait a bit.
Around 100 people live in Wyandbean, about 105 kilometres southeast of Canberra, on the eastern side of the Shoalhaven River.
We have one way in, one way out. Whether it's fire, flood, whatever, only one way.
We've flooded now 11 times this year, where we've had to run the day you get out to get as much supplies and get back in.
The closest supplies are in Braidwood, 50 kilometres away. Helen Stig and her sister Julie Brown love Wyandbean, but it's getting harder to live in the area, especially for people like Helen who need frequent access to healthcare.
And most of the time I have to stay out and stay with family in Canberra because my health is such I have to go to a specialist quite a lot. My bones are very brittle and I've now fractured 4 vertebrae, so I'm really cautious about how often I come home or how much I have to stay away from my husband and son. Look, it's a simple fix. Everybody wants money. I know there's a limited dollar to go around, but this causeway has been put in very dangerously, very low.
It's a fix the Queanbeyan Palerang Regional Council also supports. The problem is they can't afford it. Meanwhile, Wyandbean residents say every crossing attempt is a risk.
So it's not something that's just new. It's not something that's happened in the last 12 months, but it's something that's getting so much worse. And the impact on people of being flooded in, getting close to the end of medications. So it really does limit people's ability to enjoy living where they want to live.
Astra Temple knows all about that struggle. She also has to cross the river to get in and out of her rural property.
We've had a considerable amount of rain the last 2.5 years and had been flooded in for 28 days once, 26 days another time.
She shared this home with her husband Randall until he died from cancer a few months ago.
I miss him very much. But this was our dream, to finish our lives up here. I just got to wait a bit.
Being stranded while sick took its toll.
Towards the end, he'd gone blind, he was unable to move around, ambulatory had gone out the window, so that did make it difficult. Being flooded in when he was here was very difficult for him because he was the quintessential people person, so he missed having company or visitors.
Randall wanted to die at home on the property he loved.
You couldn't have had a doctor on call to see him, anything like that. So Randall accepted that at the end. His preference was to die at home, but he realised at the end that it wasn't possible.
It's not just the depth of the water that's a problem.
I haven't seen it under 500 for a long time, and it goes up as high as 4.5 metres.
Yeah.
And flow rate, it's been up into the thousands of megalitres per 24-hour period, whereas before it was maybe 100 megalitres a day going past. Yeah. It's currently, although it's dropped a lot at the moment, it's still just under 400 megalitres a day going past. So we don't tend to like to drive through if it's above 500 megalitres because it just pushes the vehicles sideways and it's no good.
It's a calculated risk that resident Brian Newby takes just to get to work. If it's too deep to drive across, Brian paddles, but with fast-flowing waters, that's not always possible.
Because the hours I work, 11:30 at night till 7:30 in the morning, it means one of the crossings I've got to do is in the dark.
He had a bit of an incident where he did that when it was too high,
and was
I was so scared on the other side. I had the torch there, and he had the torch on his head, the head torch, and he was trying to work the canoes, but it was really quite dodgy. So I think he got a bit of a fright from that. Being a bit of a male, he thinks he could do it, but
now I don't do that
Brian's used up a lot of his long service leave because they've been stranded for weeks at a time. After 3 consecutive La Nina events, it doesn't take much for levels to rise.
And now with the rain, it comes up so quickly. That's why you've got to be so careful. Because see, the ground is so wet after so much 3 years of constant rain that it's only got to run off now. It won't, it won't soak in or anything anymore. It just runs off. So that's why it comes up quickly.
People who live in this area are resilient, and they need to be.
You just have to be resourceful in the country. You just and some things you have to do without if you run out.
Look, there's no magic wand. It doesn't matter where you live, there are going to be issues. But for me, that was really brought to a head with Randall, with the illness. I know that there's other people in the area that are, both Randall and I were 65. There are older people living in the area, and they really need to be able to get in and out of their properties. So it's a real problem in this area and needs addressing.